From our studio in Georgetown, this is the TV Delmarva Channel 14 News at 4.
Good day, Delmarva. Reporter Rob Petrie here for TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Straight ahead, an early morning fire has destroyed a home in Milford. A Millsboro man was arrested and charged with his 10th DUI after police say he drove drunk and crashed his vehicle. And a Millsboro man has been arrested on drug and weapons charges in Georgetown. These stories and more coming up, but weather first with Hunter Outen.
Well, good Monday afternoon, Delmarva. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. We had some pretty nice conditions over the weekend. We had a little bit some warmer temperatures going into Sunday. We had a little bit of rain in the northern portions during the morning hours, but overall, this weekend was quite fantastic, and even today has been looking quite nice. Taking a live look outside of TV Delmarva Studios here in Georgetown, Delaware, we are seeing an increase in the cloud cover from the west as expected, and some not so bad temperatures either. Currently 55 degrees here in Georgetown. Take a look at some satellite and radar. You can see that stream of clouds from west to east. This is out of ahead of a storm system that will be settling in towards the middle portions of this week. We're not expecting anything in the rain department going into the overnight hours tonight, but going into tomorrow morning will be a little bit of a different story once a warm front begins to lift northward and we really start getting into that precipitation during the overnight hours Tuesday night. Let's have a look at some temperatures elsewhere on Delmarva at this hour. Right now, it's currently 55 in Salisbury, 54 for Pocomoke City, 48 along the Atlantic Coast in Ocean City, 53 for Easton, 52 for Centreville, 54 degrees for Dover and Wilmington, and currently 53 right now in Newark. We are seeing some semi-dry conditions out there, humidity values, especially in our inland locations, anywhere between about 35 to 45%, but that will be on the increase as we head into the overnight hours tonight. Current winds, though, we are seeing some sustained winds anywhere between about 7 to 10 miles an hour from the west, but we are seeing a little bit stronger wind gusts. Currently gusting right now 17 here in Georgetown, 15 for Salisbury, 13 for Pocomoke City and Ocean City, gusting to 17 right now in Centreville, 16 in Dover and Wilmington, and currently gusting from the northwest in Newark at 18 miles per hour. Now, we do have rain chances over the next couple of days and even the potential for some thunderstorms as well by Thursday. I'll have all the details regarding that rain threat in just a little bit.
Fire has destroyed a home in Milford. According to the Carlisle Fire Company, around 4:18 this morning, crews responded to a fully involved house fire on the 700 block of Cicada Lane in Milford. When crews arrived, fire personnel said it was clear that the structure was fully involved and efforts were launched to bring the blaze under control. Firefighters from Frederica, Houston, and South Bowers worked with the Carlisle Fire Company crews to extinguish the blaze. After more than 3 hours of hard work, the scene was declared under control. There is no word at this time on what caused the blaze, which remains under investigation. Well, a Millsboro man has been arrested and charged with his 10th DUI after police say he drove drunk and crashed his car. According to Delaware State Police, around 11:19 a.m. Thursday, troopers were called to Main Street south of Daisy Road in Millsboro after receiving reports that a white Dodge Ram had struck a fence. Police say it was reported that the driver was trying to flee the scene on foot. Troopers responded and located the suspect, later identified as 54-year-old Charles Smith, walking just south of the collision scene. When troopers made contact with Smith, they immediately detected an odor of alcohol and a DUI investigation ensued. A computer inquiry revealed that Smith's driver's license was revoked and that he had been arrested for 9 prior DUI offenses. Smith was taken into custody and committed to the Sussex Correctional Institution on $15,500 secured cash bond. Well, speaking of Millsboro, a Millsboro man was arrested on drug and weapons charges in Georgetown. According to Delaware State Police, around 7 p.m. Saturday, troopers on patrol in the area of Park Avenue in Georgetown witnessed a blue Ford Explorer operated by 25-year-old Andrew Long, who had active warrants for his arrest and did not possess a valid driver's license. A traffic stop was initiated, at which point police say Long pulled his vehicle over to the shoulder of the road and immediately got out and began to flee on foot while carrying a handgun. Troopers chased the suspect and gave verbal commands for him to stop. Long eventually gave up, dropped the gun, and was taken into custody without further incident. The loaded 9mm handgun was recovered, and a search of the vehicle led to the discovery of approximately 1.3 grams of marijuana. Long was committed to the Sussex Correctional Institution on more than $100,000 cash bond. Well, the Delaware Department of Justice is seeking the public's assistance in the prosecution of a Sussex County pastor indicted for unlawful sexual contact and is requesting that any additional victims contact law enforcement. We just now got the following photo from the Justice Department. Major Foster, a Lincoln man who at the time was employed as a pastor of Ellendale's Philadelphia Pentecostal Holiness Church, faces pending charges after inappropriately touching multiple women. Foster was indicted back in November by a Sussex County grand jury on 3 counts of unlawful sexual contact in the 3rd degree, following an investigation into multiple reports that from 2013 to 2020 he attempted to use scriptures to coerce female parishioners into sexual relationships. Prosecutors say he also made inappropriate comments and instigated prolonged hugs during which he made inappropriate sexual contact with his victims. Foster was also charged with offensive touching for pushing a victim's husband when he was confronted. The state was aware of 3 victims at the time of Foster's original indictment. Prosecutors now have reason to believe that additional victims may be unidentified. The state implores anyone whom Foster has harmed or has additional information about the case to contact Delaware State Police. Well, we now get more details, including the identity of the service member killed in a plane crash just last week at Wallops Island. On Wednesday, Lieutenant Hiram Hanlon, assigned to the Airborne Command and Control Squadron VAW-120, lost his life when an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye conducting routine flight operations crashed in the vicinity of Wallops Island near Chincoteague, Virginia. Hanlon, who commissioned in the Navy from Arizona State University back in May 2017, reported to VAW-120 on January 31st of last year. The U.S. Navy continues to coordinate with state and local officials on the salvage planning efforts of the crashed aircraft. At this time, we revisit our report from last week with Hunter Outen for a full recap of the crash.
A Navy E-2D Hawkeye assigned to the East Coast Airborne Command and Control Squadron crashed in the vicinity of the Wallops Island and Chincoteague, Virginia region. Around 7:30 p.m. Thursday night, a Norfolk-based 3-person crew was conducting routine flight operations in the vicinity of the Wallops Island Flight Facility and for unknown reasons went down into the marshlands of the Chincoteague Bay, not too far off from the Queen Sounds Bridge on Route 175. Crews were dispatched to the area from Accomack, Wicomico, and Worcester County's first responders, as well as the Coast Guard for a rescue mission to retrieve the individuals from the crash. Upon arrival, 2 crew members self-extricated and were located on top of the plane. Maryland State Police transported those crew members who were later treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The 3rd crew member remained missing but later found deceased at the scene. The Worcester County Fire Department dive team supported the search and recovery efforts of the deceased, and the name of the crew member will not be released at this time pending primary next of kin notification, as well as the other 2 crew members due to privacy concerns. Now the investigation remains ongoing today on what caused the plane to crash in the first place, and we will provide later updates as the situation develops.
The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Well, severe weather season is here on Delmarva, and we want to help you get notified. Collaborating efforts from Midland USA, Walls Service Center, and Delmarva WX are giving you the opportunity to win one of these life-saving devices. 3 Midland weather radios will be given away this month. Stay tuned to tvdelmarva.com for a full list of contest rules and how to enter this multi-month giveaway. We are here to make Delmarva a weather-ready nation community, and we thank you for your support. Coming up, the Delaware Office of Highway Safety is teaming up with local and state law enforcement to launch the Drive to Save Lives campaign. More details straight ahead. Keep it here. Well, the Delaware Office of Highway Safety is teaming up with local and state law enforcement to launch the Drive to Save Lives campaign. Distracted driving is one of the fastest growing safety issues on Delaware roads today. Increasing trends and fatalities show that our roads are the most dangerous that they've been in years. Distracted driving crashes are often underreported, but data shows that here in Delaware between 2017 and 2021, at least 180 people were seriously injured or even died in crashes involving distracted drivers. Now, just last year, distracted driving was a contributing factor in over 8,000 crashes. A high visibility enforcement effort will take place on April 7th to remind drivers about the dangers and consequences of distracted driving. The Delaware Office of Highway Safety continues to support the Delaware State Police Drive to Save Lives initiative that will take place on April 8th through the 9th. This mobilization brings together multiple law enforcement agencies from Florida all the way to Maine to focus patrols up and down the I-95 corridor aimed at keeping motorists safe and reducing fatalities. Well, it's looking like we're in store for increasing clouds and milder conditions tonight as we get a preview of your pinpoint weather forecast with Hunter Alton.
Sunshine this afternoon will be replaced with more cloud cover and rain chances going into the day on Tuesday. A heavier and steadier rain is on the way for the overnight hours Tuesday into Wednesday. And not to mention the threat of some thunderstorms for Thursday before drying out towards the weekend. Just how much rain are we expecting? I'll let you know when we come back here on TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Well, I hope you got to enjoy the sunshine across the area today for this Monday, because we're probably not going to see it once again for another several days because we have more rain in the forecast. And I know, April showers bring May flowers, but this is getting to be a little bit of an understatement for how much rain we've had in the forecast over the last couple of weeks. But unfortunately, we have to deal with it, and it begins during the late overnight hours tonight because we're going to be looking at an increase in those clouds with some milder conditions overall. 44 to 47 degrees tonight with some light winds from the south between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Take a look at Futurecast. Rest of the overnight hours into the morning hours on Wednesday. This is 8 o'clock this evening. We have the clouds beginning to settle in, and that's going to help keep temperatures warmer during the overnight hours. By 8 o'clock, we're already down into the lower 50s, but going into the heart of the overnight hours, we're still going to be looking at plenty of cloud cover. Temperatures have cooled off into the upper 40s, but waking up tomorrow morning, we're going to be watching for a warm front begin to lift northward, and that's going to be the focal point for some developing scattered showers in the morning hours. You can see in the Futurecast there just south of Salisbury. Once we get into the early afternoon hours, that warm front begins to continue on lifting northward. We still got areas of showers for Dover upwards to Wilmington and Newark. We get a little bit of a break in the mid-afternoon hours for the central southern Delmarva region, but once we get into the evening hours, we're going to be looking at a bigger increase in those rain chances, temperatures in the mid-50s, and some of this rain will be light to moderate in nature by the evening hours, and especially just after midnight going into Wednesday morning. A widespread area of light to moderate rainfall, and some of this could be heavy at times as well, and that's going to be keeping temperatures warm too because we got a nice southerly breeze. 54 to 57 degrees for the most part there in central Delmarva. And then going into Wednesday morning, we're going to be looking at another wet start. Temperatures are fairly warm too in the mid and upper 50s, but that will continue to move off towards the northeast, and we'll get a break from the precipitation once we get into the afternoon hours on Wednesday. Take a look at the forecast precipitation amounts from the RAP model. Could be looking up anywhere up to about 3/4 of an inch of precipitation, especially where these heavier bands set up in central Delmarva, but not too bad, not looking in the way of any flash flooding potential out of this event, at least going into Wednesday. Tuesday forecast overall, we got scattered showers and a warmer day ahead too, with some light winds. Temperature 60 to 65 degrees with winds from the south between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Well, at least the good news is with rain in the forecast, it's going to keep those allergy levels down just a little bit. Right in the middle of that medium high category, 6.9 out of 12, with your main allergens being maple, elm, and juniper going into Tuesday. Now we're going to switch gears and take a look at the marine conditions for Tuesday, beginning with the Atlantic. We got scattered showers, 55 degrees, winds from the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour with seas of 2 to 4 feet. Take a look at the Delaware Bay. Scattered showers, 58 degrees, winds from the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour with seas of less than 1 foot expected. And then the Chesapeake Bay. Scattered showers, 61 degrees, winds from the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour with seas of around 1 foot expected. Now, going into the overnight hours tomorrow night, this is where the best chance of rain, at least in the next 24-36 hours. Periods of rain, some of that rain will be heavy at times too. Overnight lows, 52 to 55 degrees, fairly mild, with some breezy conditions too from the south between 10 and 15 miles per hour. Now, I do want to show you this risk area here from the Storm Prediction Center. This is a day 4 risk for areas south of Dover all the way down to Cape Charles, including Lexington Park and La Plata, Maryland, just across the bay. Watching out for the potential of seeing some strong thunderstorms going into Thursday. We still have a lot of time to iron out these kind of details, but it's very unusual that we get these long extended risks from the Storm Prediction Center. But severe weather is a little bit hard in this area for this time of year, all thanks to the colder water temperatures kind of adding a little bit of a stable air. But regardless, we'll be keeping an eye on this throughout much of this week and see how this threat evolves later on. Now, let's take a look at that extended outlook. Well, we got a lot of rain in the forecast beginning tomorrow morning all the way into Friday morning. We have those areas of potential thunderstorms going into Thursday. Temperatures in the mid and upper 60s. We cool down a little bit going into Friday with those morning showers, but the sun should return by the afternoon. And taking a sneak peek into next weekend, we are going to be looking at some drier conditions as well. Temperatures right around average, near 60 degrees. And then taking a little sneak peek into next week, we could be looking at a big warm-up trend towards the mid to late portions of next week, where we could be looking at some record highs as well.
Coming up, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says what's unfolded in his country as a result of the Russian invasion is nothing short of genocide. More details straight ahead. Don't go away. This is genocide. Those were the words of Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky after his own government showed evidence of civilian executions and other atrocities allegedly committed by Russian forces. Dead bodies of civilians are said to have littered the streets on the outskirts of the country's capital city of Kyiv. At least one corpse was reportedly found with their hands bound behind their back with a bullet hole through the mouth. Countless bodies of civilians were found dead in the streets from gunshot wounds suggesting that they were shot and killed at close range. Russia has since denied the allegations.
Weather Classroom is sponsored by No Nonsense Office Machines, committed to providing quality products and services with over 15 years of experience here in Sussex County. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's weather lesson, we will be talking about storm relative helicity. Now, storm relative helicity is essentially a way of representing the potential for corkscrew rotation to form in the atmosphere, which suggests the likelihood of a mesocyclone, or also known as a supercell thunderstorm, forming, which in turn can suggest the likelihood of tornadoes. Now, there's no particular value that determines if or when a tornado might form, but generally speaking, the greater the storm relative helicity is, the more likely for a tornado may form. Now, storm relative helicity alone doesn't suffice to determine the tornado formation, but it's a very helpful product in which we can identify the shear in the environment if it's rotating aloft. It's called storm relative because it is measured in comparison to the general velocity of the storm as a whole, as opposed to saying the rotation of the earth or your position relative to the storm in general. Now, effective storm relative helicity is a minimum value needed to keep the storm alive. Below this value, there really isn't enough instability such as vertical wind shear to keep the storm going for much longer. Thus, values under the minimum suggest storms will either die out or lose all supercellular characteristics in general.
Well, that about does it for us today, Delmarva. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at TV Delmarva and on our website, tvdelmarva.com, for real-time news and weather updates. And while you're there, be sure to sign our petition calling on the major cable providers to carry TV Delmarva on their platforms so we can provide this kind of hard-hitting local programming to all of Delmarva. Until next time, I'm Rob Petrie reporting for TV Delmarva Channel 14 News.